Well, hello and welcome again to our reading of John's Gospel, and we're up to chapter 11, and this is the death of Lazarus. Now, the initial aim here is preparatory, but there was tis a certain man, asthenon. This is a participle from asthenio, to be weak or to be sick. It's interesting word. It's an alpha privative, so alpha negative, and the sten root. Stenos is the Greek for strength, and asthenos is one who does not have any strength and hence is sick. This story of Lazarus is only in this gospel. It's not in the synoptic gospels. So there was a certain man being sick, Lazarus from Bethany, from the village of Mary and Martha, her sister. Miriam was the one having anointed. This is from aleipho, with a phi. This is the aorist, feminine aorist participle. So Miriam or Mary was the one having anointed the Lord muro with myrrh, kai ek massasa. This is from ek masso, to anoint, to wipe upon, and this is the aorist feminine participle here. And having wiped his feet, ties thrix in autes with her hair. Now this is the dative plural from this word thrix. Thrix is the word for hair, and you're told in the grammars that it's irregular and that the genitive is trichos. Well, it's not really irregular at all. The point is that the original root of this is thrich, which you get from the nominative, so thrix, and thrich is the root, but Greek does not like having two aspirated consonants separated by one vowel, and so what happens is the first consonant deaspirates. It goes back from an aspirated dental back to an unvoiced dental tor, and that gives you the various forms, the trick root from which you form the oblique cases, so you get trichar, trichos, tricky. Some might say this noun is very tricky, and triches, trichas, trichone. But when you go to the dative plural, you add the sin ending on, and that turns the chi back into a xi again, and so there aren't two aspirated consonants, and so the first one goes back to being a theta again, and it just gives you this thrixin form. So it is in fact quite regular, given this particular oddity of Greek that it doesn't like two aspirates. This has got a technical name. It's called Grassmann's law, and you can look it up and find out more information about it. It's a feature of some Indo-European languages. So Mary was the one having anointed the Lord with myrrh and having wiped his feet with her hair. Haste, literally, of whom the brother Lazarus was sick. So instead of saying the brother, they've used a relative pronoun here. So whose brother, asthene, is the imperfect, was sick. From astheneo, the two epsilons that you get in the imperfect contract to give you a. The sisters then sent to him legusai, participle, saying, O Lord, behold, the one whom you love, asthene, is ill. So as usual, we don't get the antecedent, we just get behold whom. So the one whom you are fond of is sick. Acouses, Jesus having heard, he said, this astheneia, here's the abstract noun from the verb astheneo, this is the abstract noun, this sickness is not to death. So, in other words, this is not fatal. So this illness is not fatal, but hupetes doxes to theou. So we have to understand, but it is, so it came about, literally on behalf of the glory of God. So perhaps for the glory of God, hina, in order that the Son of God doxasthe. This is the aorist passive subjunctive from doxasto, I glorify, so that the Son of God might be glorified, di autes, through it. The it is the astheneia, that feminine noun there. Agapa, from agapao, it's an alpha contract verb, so this is just the imperfect. Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. No real distinctions here between the use of phileo and agapao. They're often used interchangeably. Hos un akusen hoti asthene, and when he heard that he, that is Lazarus, is sick, at that time, we get a men here, and I don't think, well, we get a sort of a, it's not really a det, but we get a nepater to sort of balance this. You don't often get this men det combination that you do in classical Greek. So at that time he remained, aorist from meno, in, now here's some hyperbaton here, in the place in which he was. So just notice the funny word order. This is typical of Greek, and you just have to get used to it. And he remained in the place in which he was, duo hemeras, for 2 days. Epater, and that's possibly balancing that men, and then after this he says to his disciples, ago men, this is from ago. Ago means to lead, but it can also mean to go. Here we get a hortatory subjunctive. So let us go back, or again, into Judea. The disciples say to him, Rabbi, now the Jews et Zertun were seeking lithasai, to stone you. From lithasdo, this is the aorist infinitive. It's the now is sort of just now, so the Jews were just now seeking to stone you. Kai palin hubagais eke, and you want to go back there again. Literally, hubago is to depart, but here it means just to return. So you want to return back there again. And Jesus answered, Uki, question expecting the answer yes. Uki dodeka horai esintes hemeras. Are there not 12 hours in a day? And if someone, peripate, walks in the day, so during the day, u proskopte. Now proskopto is to stumble. It sort of has the sense of hitting your foot against something, and hence to stumble, hence this copto root here. But proskopto is to stumble. You get proskoma, which is a thing which you stumble on, a stumbling block, and so on. So if someone walks during the day, he does not stumble, because blepe, he sees the light of this world. If someone walks in the night, proskopte, he stumbles, because the light is not in him. He said these things, and after these things he said to them, so historic present, he says to them, Lazarus, our friend, kekoimetai. This is a perfect, must be middle here from koimao. He has fallen asleep. Well, that's often a euphemism for is dead, but the disciples don't, they misunderstand. Anyway, he says our friend has fallen asleep, but I am going in order that ex hupniso, this is the future from ex hupnidzdo, in order that I might wake him up. His disciples then said to him, Lord, if, subjunctive here, he has fallen asleep, this is perfect again, so thesatai, he will be well. Literally, he will be saved, but it's often used of someone recovering from an illness. So perhaps you could say he will recover. This is the future passive here from sozo. Jesus ereke is the pluperfect from Lego. So you get ereka for the perfect and ereket for the third person singular. This is ereke, which means it's going to be a pluperfect. Jesus had said or had spoken regarding his death, but those men, that is the disciples, but they, edoxan, they thought that he speaks concerning literally the sleeping of sleep. Two different words for sleep. You could translate this, I think, by normal sleep or natural sleep, but literally it's concerning the koimesis, third declension noun, to hupnu, it's the sleep of natural sleep. So you could just say that he was speaking in regard to natural sleep. At that time then Jesus said to them, paresia, openly, literally with boldness, so openly. The root of this here, this is para plus the re root here of speaking. It's to speak plainly, so openly, clearly. At that time Jesus said to them clearly or openly, Lazarus epithenon has died, and I rejoice on account of you, in order that you might believe, hoti uk amen eke, that I was not there. Now amen is the first person plural from the verb to be in the imperfect. This is not the classical first person singular, I should say, that I was not there. This is not the usual form in classical Greek for this, but this is a later form. You also get, well, there are other forms of this as well. Anyway, it's just I was, that I was not there. Come. Now, Allah, when it's at the beginning of a sentence, can often mean just translate as come rather than but. And that's true in classical Greek as well. So come, agomen, hortatory subjunctive, let us go to him. Thomas, the one being called Didymus, the twin, said to his fellow disciples, we get mathetais and sum mathetais, to his fellow disciples, agomen, here again we get the hortatory subjunctive, let us also go, in order that we might die, this is subjunctive, with him. It's a funny thing to say. It may be that they've been warning Jesus, if they go back there, the Jews will stone them, and he simply says, well, righto, let's go back and we'll all die together. It's the sort of thing you might imagine Thomas saying. Elthone, then Jesus having gone, he found him, that is Lazarus, tesserus ade hemeras ekonta, literally having 4 days ade already, en to mnemeo, in the tomb. So he found him literally having, we might just, when you've got ekonta can often be used just for being, so being 4 days in the tomb, literally having 4 days in the tomb already, ade. Bethany was near Jerusalem. Hos with a number is approximately, and the apos slightly odd here, it's perhaps a distance of, so approximately a distance of 15 stades, decapentestadion. Many of the Jews, ele Luthesan, had come, this is again a strange, slightly odd form here, this must be pluperfect, they had come to Martha and Mary in order that they might console them. This is from paramutheo, this is the aorist subjunctive, in order that they might console them. It's, muthos is a word, para, to speak a word beside someone, is to console them, regarding the brother. Martha, therefore, when she heard that Jesus is coming, we would say was coming, the Greek has the vivid present, is coming, Hup and Tason, from Hup and Tao. She came out to meet him. Miriam Ekatezdatot, she was sitting in the house. And Martha then said to Jesus, Lord, if you were here, this is the second person singular from imperfect from the verb to be, if you were here, my brother would not have died. Allah's in square brackets here, so you can say but if you like. Also now I know that Hossa as many things. Now aitase is second person, it's middle aorist subjunctive. It's second person middle, it's a slightly strange form. It's the same form as the I think as the third person singular, but this actually is a second person singular. That as many things as you ask God, God will give dose future from didomi soy to you. And Jesus says to her, historic present, your brother Anastasatai from anhistemi will arise. So your brother will arise. There's a Su up here coming. Your brother will arise. Martha says to him, I know that he will arise in the anastasis, so we get the verb and the noun. Greek likes having verbs and cognate nouns. He will arise in the resurrection on the last day. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one believing in me can for kai e'an, even if apothane, subjunctive, he dies, seisatai, he will live. And everyone living and believing in me, ume, strong negative with subjunctive, in no way will die, as tonai ona, literally unto the age, so will not die forever. Question, do you believe this? She says to him, Nai Courier, yes Lord. I have believed, perfect, that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, hot Kominos, the one coming into the world. And we'll leave that section there.